The mashal of the Zayna. So there's this king who had a child, a son, who was wise and talented and upstanding. But the king thought to himself, he's wise and he's moral and he's good because he's here in the palace and he's insulated and he's never come face to face with any real temptation. So is it real? Is it all real? So outside the gates of the palace, there were some women of ill repute, and the king summoned one of them and told her, "It's your job to seduce my son." And at the same time, he warned his son, in other words, to make sure that you stay away from any such woman and how awful it is. So this harlot, she's maybe not involved in the most kosher of businesses, but she is a loyal subject of the king, and she loves the king very much, so she has to do her job. But what does she want? She doesn't want. So she has to go and try to seduce the king's son, and she follows him around, and she does her work. But what she really, really wants is that the king's son should reject all of her advances, because she knows that that's what's going to make the king happy. Moreover, she knows that if the son rejects her advances, then the king will reward her and the son for the services. So that's what she wants. And the same thing is the nefesh habahamis, although it has to do a good job because that's what it's charged to do. And it does its job, faithfully and loyally. But ultimately, what does the Yetzer Hara want? The Yetzer Hara, that we should pass the test. That we should pass the test. And why is this relevant over here? Why is this relevant? Who cares what its desire is? My nefesh habahamis is trying to get me. Yetzer Hara is trying to get me to do an avera. Why is it relevant whether it really wants me to do the avera or not? And I think that we can all relate to the idea that when we're up against an obstacle, and sometimes when we're talking about the obstacle, we're talking about an internal obstacle, not an external obstacle. A certain bad habit that we have, or a certain desire that we have, an addiction that we have. Whether a full-blown addiction or we're all addicts to a certain extent, if you in a small way. And sometimes we feel that we're powerless against these desires that we have, and this. I've made this mistake so many times, and I've tripped again, or my laziness, or whatever it may be. We perceive the enemy to be very real and to be very strong. But if we only were to take a moment to think about the fact that the enemy isn't so real, not only the enemy itself wants me actually not to succumb to the temptation and to its lure. It's a different world then. It's a different world. Because then you realize the whole purpose of the nefesh habahamis. What is the purpose of the nefesh habahamis? Not that I should fail, but that I should overpower it. If we can view every challenge in life, because it's talking here about the nefesh habahamis, but this is really true about every challenge we encounter in life. Why does Hashem put a challenge in our direction? Why does He give us these things? Because He wants us to fail. Chas v'shalom. Any challenge that Hashem presents us with, the reason why we have the challenge is because we're meant to overcome it. And that is the purpose of the challenge. The purpose of the Yetzer Hara is not that I should sin, but that I should overcome it, and using the example of the plane that we mentioned earlier, that I should use it to fly even higher. That change of perspective gives me the koyach. It gives me the koyach to realize, of course I'm stronger than it. It wouldn't be there if I wasn't stronger than it. Think about that for a second. If I couldn't overcome it, Hashem wouldn't put it there. If the whole purpose why Hashem puts it there is that I should overcome it, then I could overcome it. And that perspective, when we view the nefesh habahamis and all the challenges that it presents, or that Hashem presents before us, with the understanding that it's kamashal hazoyna b'zeir hakadosh, that really this is only for my good. This challenge is there only for me to overcome it. It gives us the courage and the ability and the confidence to be able to overcome the nefesh habahamis. What are you playing with me? You want me to do this avera? Even you don't want me to do this avera. This is tamam shagas.
So what do you say about people who's addicted in doing certain averas, and they say they can't say they would claim it's too hard for me so you're saying Nefesh Bahamis on these people is more stronger than from some.
It's possible that certain people have a strong Nefesh Bahamis, but the premise remains. My Nefesh Bahamis, Hashem put it there for me to overcome. If I couldn't overcome it, it wouldn't be there. That's, in other words, axiomatic. If Hashem puts the Nefesh Bahamis and the purpose is that I should get reward for overcoming it, that means that obviously Hashem would never give me a Nefesh Bahamis which I can't overcome.
Including an addict that we're talking about.
Including an addict, everyone. Now the question is how, and some people take a certain type of process, another person takes another type of process, and I'm not saying it's easy. But Hashem would never give us a challenge, internal or external, that we can't handle, because otherwise Hashem is just being mean. Chas v'shalom to say that.